Okay, so this is basically my post-week breakdown. So we were from the basically 13th to the 18th. It's now 3 a.m. So I'm just doing a breakdown. I'll have to, this is like yeah, some sort of journal thing. But I have all my notes on here, basically what happened during the week. So basically I took a trade in USD PLN. Oh, actually, hold on, let me pull up one more thing here. Yeah. So here, basically, you can see that I wasn't documenting anything properly because I know I took a trade on HKD, but on here it says that so this is not it, not it, this is not it, April 13th. Yeah, it says USD PLN and USD CAD. I ended up exiting both of these because like they just didn't look good. There's just some things in here that I ate and like it kind of like just messed my whole thing up because like I guess the way the body's like processing carbs and protein and things like that, it kind of like has to use energy for that. So it was really like draining to me after I ate. So usually I'll just like not eat the whole entire time until I'm done everything and then I'll eat after that. But um yeah, it's just the way times are set up. But whatever I did is just like maybe there's too much oil in the food or whatever, but it just totally drained my energy. Okay, and then I looked at the charts and we were in profits with these trades, and then they ended up dropping back down. So let me see. Yeah, basically, was this it? Yeah. So that's where I would have entered, right? And then basically this went to like a 2R, and then it kind of like just you see 4 p.m. Sunday. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I know what happened. I didn't enter there because at 4 p.m. we didn't get the confirmation candle, right? So what happened was we have to go to here, okay, and the 13th, 13th. Okay, yeah. So basically what happened was this was 3 to 7, so I would have taken a trade after that or at 3 p.m. I wouldn't have taken a trade from the 3 candle, and I couldn't take a trade until after 7, right? So basically already had the proper pullback. The daily had proper pullback too, did it? It was on this day. So it was pulling back, but it didn't close. So this is what made me like wanted to exit the trade because it didn't I wasn't paying attention. So we had the weekly close, right? Weekly's here, weekly wick pullback, TP's right here. Basically, we would just grab from here, measure along here, and see where the next point is, which is right there exactly. Daily at that time, like when it was pulling back, because it was a weekly wick pullback, I was like, oh, I don't need a proper daily pullback, right? So I'll just do a 4 hour pullback. I already had a 4 hour pullback, and I was like, okay, I can just enter anytime, but I need that rejection candle because I'm not going to enter before it, and I need the rejection candle in my session, right? So the only time the rejection candle came in our session was this 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. candle. So this candle opens at 7, so this means this candle closed or opened, and then it closed right when this candle opened up here at 7. So I wasn't going to take a trade until after that. So which means we have to start looking from 7 p.m. on, and 7 p.m. on was about right here. And so when I came, the engulfing had already passed, right? So I was like, oh, okay, because it came back, retested here. I wanted to enter right here actually. So it came back, and then I was like, okay, we're reacting off of all these structures on here. I can put my stop loss like right here, right? And just aim all the way down. But yeah, it's just like when it happened, like I realized that I took the trade at 6:45 instead of 7, and that just made me like I was like, okay, this is too late. And then pretty much it went into drawdown like this. Then it went into profit. And then when it came back, like at break even, I was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling this. Like it's just like, and then I went and looked at the daily and then I was like, okay, the daily like kind of is made like it closed as an indecision like this when I realized, or not, I don't know what happened. Just something made me, let me see, keep moving, pause to check. I wasn't accepting the outcome, so I kept on checking it. I knew that the trade could take at least 20 hours to hit take profit, and I could just buy more challenges if I don't pass one. And the sooner you get over the fear of losses and just focus on following the plan, the faster you'll see results. Let go and live in the moment. Okay, price went into profits, then the 3 a.m. candle reverse, and the move closed at 7 a.m. I see other pairs like CHF, JPY moving and ready to have the ABRE in 7 a.m. because the 4 hour candle closes at that time in a bullish engulfing, which is our rejection candle. So this is CHF I'm talking about. Um, let me see. USD, okay, on USD PLN, you entered the trade before the, yeah, so this is why. And then you got the, okay, and then it's too early. You need to be patient. You did the same thing on USD CAD on a breakout engulfing continuation. So we're not doing any breakout engulfing stuff. USD CAD was at the mid, right? So basically, yeah, we didn't go through it USD PLN just because the rejection candle didn't come at the time. We needed it to. So we need a rejection candle here to close at 7, not 3 p.m. right here. So it has to say like the 7 to 3 p.m. candle. So basically, actually, this candle right here, this 7 o'clock candle, right? Because this closes at 11. That's the earliest we can take it. There's somewhere in the notes I put it on there, but you'll see it on here. Let me go to USD CAD real quick because that was the other one we're in USD CAD. Yeah, we pretty much got out of this right away because it like gave us everything we wanted, right? But when we looked at it, weekly, it was not the weekly at mid. Daily at the time didn't have a proper pullback. Um, I was looking for a weekly wick pullback because we are bearish. Okay, here we didn't have anything, but we could have had a proper 4 hour pullback. Oh, yeah, okay. I know what happened. So this right here, I was trying to take trades without following this rule of waiting for it to come back to the 2.5 to 0.38. That's bad. We can't do that. Like this is where our hidden area of interest are here and anywhere after here. So you can't take any setups that don't first tap into this. This is like all this work that we've put in on here, like we figured out that this is what happens and this is what you need to do, right? So yeah, you got an engulfing count and it was the correct time, but it was a mid, meaning you didn't wait for the 4 hour to have a proper 4 hour pullback before using the 4 hour rejection candle confirmation. The 4 hour rejection confirmation only works once price has pulled back to the 0.25 to 0.75 and okay, and anything, oh, it's supposed to be and anything. And anything in between that is mid and on the way to the price. Oh, okay, right. So, okay, so let me fix this on here. Not doing any of that. Okay, so basically, this is how you measure the 4 hour range, right? So you have a 4 hour range. You go from the high, from the lower high because it's bearish to the lower low. This is not a structure point. Is not a structure point. Is not a structure point. So that means the lower low is here. The lower high is here, right? So anything before you get to this is considered mid, right? So there's like your area of interest, right? So let me go through. There's one area of interest there. There's another one after here. Okay. So basically when price is pulling back, okay, so price is here. Price is pulling back. This is at 2. This is at mid. You don't take a trade here. Mid. Okay, perfect. Now we've tapped into here. We are now at an area of interest, right? So we're now at 3. So now you can start taking start taking trades. But any time before that, right? Anytime it gets into This area before that, that's invalid, that's improper. You did not wait for a proper 4 hour pullback, and you always need a proper 4 hour pullback no matter what. As you can see, when price came back to here, it then did it like it did. It gave us a rejection candle. You can see price here, strength, this rejection candle would have closed below 0.25 showing strength, right? So you can see it closed below this point, 43, sorry. So that shows strength on there. Just this candle is like super weird. Price wouldn't have shifted properly before it did it. But you can see that we got, this is at 11 a.m. So we wouldn't be interested in this one anyways because our trading time is gone anyways, right? So not 11 a.m. We can start looking here. So now we know that we have, this is 7 p.m., right? So this is going to be the 7 p.m. to 11 candle close, right? So now that we know that we've had that rejection candle, we can then go in and look for the shift to structure. But as you can see, this would have been like, it wouldn't have shifted just because of the way the candle made that giant move on there, right? So we got the rejection candle, no shift. We can't take an entry. I don't know, like, let me see if it does the 5 minute hidden. Okay, we're here. See if there's a 5 minute hitting engulf in. We don't do these, but there is a way to catch these ones without the shift, and I've noticed it multiple times. Okay, so this is where I draw that right. Hold on. Okay, so this is where the 5 minute shift. So there was a hidden engulf or a hidden accumulation break retest on there. So now we just look for a break retest on without any violations. So let's see. We've broken. This is structure. We've broken, we've came back higher, we've broken lower, we've came back, we don't have anything on here. We've came back. Oh, okay. We have to trade after this, by the way, which is 7 p.m., right? So the 7 p.m. we get the engulfing candle. So anytime after that. So I already see, well, this is on 3 wicks right here, so we can't do that. Or unless there's, let me see, hold on. Yeah, nothing. Oh, right here, maybe. Hold on, let me see. We use this base right here. 1 wick, 2 wick, 3 wick, 4 wick, pullback, retest, engulf in 8 p.m. in session. Okay, we use this as structure right here. So this is connected to this part and this is connected. So basically we got to go all the way up here. Okay, and this is how we would have caught on USD CAD, we would have caught that move. And on Tuesday, yeah. So basically we waited for the 4 hour rejection candle. We go 3R. We waited for the Yeah, we waited for the rejection candle. Perfect, 3R. We waited for the rejection candle. Once we got the rejection candle, we knew that so we waited for the proper 4 hour pullback first, right? So the 4 hour pullback was proper because it first tapped into our 0.25 to 0.38 zone right here. We got the rejection candle. So this was a strong rejection candle, and this is a strong. These two combined will make an engulfing pattern. As you can see, this is the smaller candle, 7.9. This is the bigger candle, 10. So this is a evening star engulfing pattern right here. So once we get the evening star engulfing pattern confirmed, we can then look for trade. We actually had it confirmed, the rejection confirmed here first, but I don't think we had the shift then. We had it confirmed, and yes, we had the shift there. Okay, perfect. So don't let me see. We pulled back, but we had a violation here on this pullback. If this is more than 2 pips, we can't take this entry here. Oh, actually, this was perfect. What time was this? At 3, okay, yeah, at 3 p.m. So we wouldn't have looked at that, right? Because we're not going to take a trade then. So that's why we had to do it at the 7 p.m., the 3, like when the 7 p.m. closed. Boom. Then we knew it was confirmed that we had that rejection candle. Then we can start looking. And that's when we found this engulf in here that followed all the rules. So right here, we had both was a proper retest and a proper engulfing. So right here, This was a proper retest. Proper retest, proper engulfing, and yeah, it was a 5 minute hidden. 5 minute hidden accumulation. Okay, so now we can just screenshot this entry just like that. And hold on, let me save some time in this video so it's not too long. Okay, we're back. Basically, I'm gonna show you how I knew what the hidden thing was. So basically, where is it? I think it's one of these ones right here. So on the entry, this is the 15 minute. Let me see what time this is. No, that wasn't it. Wait, what? Yeah, hold on. Um, proper anyways. Anyways, there's now I'm gonna be okay, I'm not gonna find it. Anyways, there's hidden accumulation basically on the 5 minute. If you get the 4 hour rejection candle, if you get the 4 hour rejection candle, you get a 5 minute accumulation. The 4 hour rejection candle confirms that the trend is switching, and then you can get a 5 minute. If you go into 5 minute, you'll see that price will actually shift. So let me copy the 5 minute part. 5 minute. You'll see that price actually shifts on the 5 minute, and then you can just look for a regular retest on the 15 minute. So 5 minute accumulation, right? But price shifts there. So this is the higher low, this is the higher high. Price shifts by breaking it. So once you have that, right, you need to then confirm the rest on the 15 minute, but you need to make sure that you have a rejection candle first, right? So we did have one, but it was out of session. But that's how it works. So let's go like this. Okay. Um, this is USD CAD 15 minute. Okay, perfect. Yep. And then, okay, so back to the breakdown. Okay, so yeah, we ended up just exiting that just because I didn't like the way it looked. Yeah, pretty much messed me up emotionally by looking at the trades all the time. Okay. Yeah, we need to purchase new accounts. Went and purchased them right away. Remove drawings on my chart and kept it to the 4 hour. So I'm just going to trade what I see and not to be influenced by anything else. Yeah, so I removed all the other drawings on the charts because I think it was just confusing me. On USD PLN, you entered before you had the rejection candle at 7 p.m. Especially on Sundays, you need to wait until Sunday for that candle to pop up after 7 p.m. Like if you get the 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. candle and it closes at 7 p.m., then that's for last Friday. You need this candle on Sunday to close from 7 to 11, and then you can trade that. That's for the new week. Okay. And yeah, not taking trades at the proper parts. Now we know we have to wait for a proper 4 hour pullback. Okay. And basically, yeah, USD PLN. Okay. Candle 3 p.m. rejection candle close. I'm saying is because the 3 p.m. to 7 candle is closed. Yeah, from the last week, you need the 7 to 11 p.m. rejection candle on Sunday for it to be valid for this current, this new. Yeah. All right. Good thing we exited USD CAD because yeah, it ended up blowing through. Oh yeah, we took this trade because this was supposed to be like a breakout trade. We didn't even try to take this trade properly. Basically, what was going on was like, oh, we're like, oh, okay, when we see these giant engulfing candles, we can take it. But then I realized this was not an engulfing candle. So that was the thing. You try and break out, but it was easy and you want. Yeah, basically that just happens because you're not in the moment and you're looking for something. You're like, oh, I'm gonna look exactly for this, and then your brain kind of just shows you it, or you convince yourself. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. Here we had the rejection candle coming back to this area on here, but it just didn't happen at the time because now we know that we need it to be the 7 p.m. to 11 candle close on Sundays. This just involves waiting, okay? All right, now Euro GBP, as you can see, okay, price never gave us a rejection confirmation. There's no need to look for the accumulation break retest. We need a deeper pullback. Yes. So this was showing us at 7 p.m., right? When it became possible, right? Well, this was because I was looking from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., getting ready to trade from that, right? Which now we know that we have to wait until 11 for the markets to reset for our new week, right? So this was wrong, but basically after I saw this, I was like, there's no need to even look because we only need to check every 4 hour. This one right here, this candle was in last week, right? So that's why it matters because like you would have been like, oh, this is a bearish rejection. Like we could be looking like this candle pull all the way back up. And here we could have an accumulation break retest and then continue up because of how this candle closed, right? But it didn't close in the session you needed to close. That's why it's important on Sundays. You need to eliminate all distractions, right? Any need for this. And just remember that on Sundays, you can only start trading in pre-London after 11 p.m. Do not try to take it before that just because you don't have the proper rejection confirmations to go before that, okay? So 4 hour never gave us the rejection candle. Also, no need to look for the accumulation break retest. So yeah, we don't need to look for the accumulation break retest until we have that candle that closes in the area of interest right here and as a strong candle above 0.43. Right, so let's see on here. 4 hour rejection. This is Euro Huff. 4 hour rejection candle at a higher high. Right, so this was when I was looking to take breakouts and things like that. And as you can see, you'll get smacked if you try to take a breakout no matter what. So always wait for the proper 4 hour pullback. Okay. I didn't actually take this trade. I wanted to because I was testing this new thing, but yeah. Breakout hammer. Okay. You have to wait for this. This is the proper and the confirmation. Okay. And the sign of strength. Okay. Without violating the 4 hour schematic. This is kind of interesting because we had quite a few trades that violated this 4 hour schematic this thing, but the only thing we changed was that we made sure the weekly bias was correct. So maybe the weekly bias is kind of overpowers everything, but let's see. Yes, this is basically what I was looking at. I was like, oh, it's a breakout. We have accumulation, break, retest right here, and we get the engulfing, and it's a head and shoulders all together. So we could enter it here. It was out of session. We could enter here. This is another retest, blah, blah, blah. And trying to take the breakout, right? But yeah, we didn't do it. Euro USD. So this was when all the Euro pairs were going. I was looking at this. I was looking at Euro HUF and like Euro Hong Kong dollar. So here, this is at 7 p.m., right? Um, so 7 p.m., the start of the new week. Candle closes after 7 p.m., the start of the new week. So this is after 7 p.m. on here, but it didn't close past that point 43. So this is a weak candle. This didn't count. The next candle came, didn't close past the point 43. So it's a weak candle, didn't count or anything like that. Euro USD. Improper retest due to messy pullback. So yeah, because we're having a pullback like this and it did that, once it made that engulfing go in this direction and then rejected and came back down, I was like, okay, this is improper because it's messy, it's accumulating, it's pretty much trapping people on there. It's just improper. It's an improper retest. We don't trade these, right? So even though we got the retest here on the base and the engulfing, we just wouldn't take it because this is an improper retest. And this is what ended up happening. Lured people in and just completely blasted through. And you avoided this massive loss because the 4 hour didn't signal the proper 4 hour pullback had ended. Combined with the 0.25, 38, the 4 hour rejection confirmation, and any 4 hour closure after 7 p.m., not 3 p.m. And if it's not on Sunday, then any 4 hour after tapping into the 0.25. Yes, if it's not a Sunday, anytime we get that, in any session after that, well, starting at 7, because we can push it back one more after that. So on Sundays, right? On Sunday, you can only start trading from 11 p.m. because you need the 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. 4 hour candle to close as a rejection confirmation candle. Right? So until then, we can't do anything. And yeah, you need to wait for proper 4 hour pullback. So let's see, after tapping in or 0.75, you cannot take an ABRE at the 4 hour lower low, just always taking the proper pullback. Yes, okay, so we can't take the accumulation break retests when price makes a new 4 hour lower low like this. Like it always has to be when price pulls back and then we can take it. If you get the signal, right? Like I say some signal, you get the confirmation and price breaks to a 4 hour lower no, you always need to wait for that 4 hour pullback. If you didn't, you would have gotten smacked on there. Um USGSG, you want to try breakouts, but they don't work. You always need to wait for the proper 4 hour pullback rejection, the accumulation break retest, and the accumulation break retest. You can't enter at the lower low or one and expect a breakout. Wait for the 4 hour proper pullback is safer always. Okay. And let's see, you had the proper entry because you didn't ensure the 4 hour had a proper market conditions, the proper conditions for a proper pullback and a rejection confirmation, then the entry would work, but then the entry will work for a bit, then reverse. Yeah, so basically, if you don't ensure that you have a rejection confirmation, right, and a proper pullback for the proper pullback, yeah, exactly. Okay, and it needs to pull back to 25, 38, or okay, so it needs to pull back to at least those zones to be considered a proper for a pullback. Time and rules, Sunday PM rejection, candle confirmation cutoff. Core principles, a valid entry cannot be based on a 4 hour candle that opens at 3 p.m. and closes at 7 p.m. on Sunday, okay? The reason is candle is a continuation from the previous week and its behavior does not reflect the current week's market dynamics. Okay. Valid rejection candle window or rejection confirmation window. Your rejection confirmation 4 hour candle that opens at 7 p.m. and closes at 11 p.m. on Sunday to be considered trade for the new week. Okay. This is the only time it's valid here. So it has to, on the new week, 7 to 11, and you're good. Okay. All right, USD PLN Pro Trend Trade didn't have proper daily pullback, nor was it an accumulation break, retest, or a counter trend trade, which means you must have a proper daily pullback, and a 4 hour pullback alone isn't enough, which is why. Okay, so because this was a pro trend trade, right? It's not a counter trend trade, so this makes sense now. So USD PLN, let's go back to this USD PLN. USD PLN was a pro trend trade, okay? So we're looking to take a lower low down there. And let's see. Because it's a proper trade, you need the proper daily pullback, right? So we were like, if if you were looking at it like, oh, this is one thing as well too. You gotta remember. Okay. So if it was like we're looking at it like, oh, this is like a daily accumulation breakout, you can see this daily accumulation here and we broke out, right? Then we can look for a proper 4 hour pullback. But once you've had a breakout and then you've had another candle close after that, it's invalid. It's only possible on the first candle, which means it has to be a big breakout on the first candle, right? Like, um, can't really, not really here. Oh, okay, that failed to close here. It did break out, right? Which means you can just do a 4 hour pullback and then just take it down right there. But it's hard. There's no clean examples right now. Oh, right here, basically. Okay. So the daily has shifted and it broken out, right? That means on the next 4 hour pullback, which is this daily wick on here, you can get in and then take it out. As you can see, prices like clustered like that. That's when it works the best. Basically it's just like right here as well too. You would just extend that right there. So you have all this accumulation here, right? This zone price breaks out hard, which means on the next 4 hour on this wick pullback here, you can look for entries. And then it kind of did it here, and then yeah, you can drop down right there. Yeah, broke out, got in right there. Would have had some delayed. Depends when it is as well too. But yeah, basically, yeah, USD PLN didn't do that this time because we had at least one other candle closed on here. We know it couldn't be a pullback, like a breakout, right? It's a daily accumulation breakout, and it's not a counter trend or anything. So the price is down here, so we're like, okay, we need a proper daily pullback. So once we got, when we were looking to, and we didn't get it the time we were looking at, we have to wait until after Tuesday. That's when we had a proper daily pullback. So Tuesday was here. We had that proper daily pullback, our proper 4 hour pullback, but we're not in trend anymore. So we need price to then switch in trend, right? So, and then it kind of just like never gave us the entry because it just went straight through and there was no way to enter because you need the 4 hour to be in trend. Here you can see the 4 hour was in trend. So you would go from the lower high to the, you can see price came in here. There is You can look for, like, I guess I don't like to do it with these candles here that can be filled because I don't see price shifting and doing it here. So I like to wait for an actual confirmation. So the confirmation would have been right there. We would have been to the here. We would have been like, okay, we can see that price shifted on the 15 minute as well too. And then we got our confirmation here. Do we have anything? Do we have 4 wicks? No. Nothing. There's nowhere that we have one, and there's no base or anything because price never retested any of that. We're still in trend, okay? So now that price is kind of like accumulating like this is improper. We can't have a retest. Like if it was like pulling back like this, and then we retested an area, like 1, 2, 3, nothing. Let's say for example there was 4 wicks here, we retested that and we got an engulfing, we could take it. But all of this now is a improper pullback. Okay, so we're not interested in that. So basically now what we'll be looking for is we need an internal shift. Okay, so we need price to create an internal accumulation and shift somewhere within there. What session are we in? 3 p.m. None of this matters. So let's play forward until we get to 7. Okay, perfect. So now we're in session. We look nothing, right? Where could we possibly have this accumulation of 4 wicks? There is no area in here that I can see that would have 4 wicks. So this is, nothing's going to happen. We're going to have to wait for it to create something down here and then break below it and then take it. So let's see. We're still bearish overall, by the way. Lower high, lower low. Nothing. Okay. You can see a bunch of stuff is going on here. So this is a retest right here, but did it retest a wick? And I didn't. Perfect. Okay. So we got 4 wicks. We got a retest. And then we get an engulfing right there. So then you would look at taking this. This is on Friday at 5 a.m. And we got everything from this structure. So basically, this is where, oh, it already went too far into profits. Let me go back a little bit because these ones are tricky, but they're very easy to see once you know what you're looking for because you're just looking for 4 wicks all the time, right? So lower high, lower low, all too messy. All this is just disgusting. You can't take anything, right? So the second you see that all these wicks are forming on here, you're like, okay, I just need 4 wicks, right? So 4 wicks and a candle base, right? You always need to make sure it's connected to at least one of the bodies right there. So you have 1 wick, 2 wick, 3 wick, 4 wick. It goes through all of that. It doesn't matter. You can even put it like here if you want, right? Perfect. Then you just need price to retest it properly. So break, you need a bullish candle, contrary candle going into the zone, tapping into here, rejecting here, and then you need an engulfing candle after. So we have contrary candle going into the zone, so contrary bullish candle going into the zone. Okay. And then bearish candle, rejection, engulfing. This is all the accumulation here. You put your stops right over here, and then you just 3R it. 2R is when you pass challenges. 3R is when we usually take profits. Let's see what happens. Okay, boom. And then price will either bleed or not do anything or totally reverse. Okay, so that's how we could have caught the USD PLN trade once we saw that price made a new lower low and then was able to do it right there. Why I didn't take this trade 5 a.m. on Friday? Hmm, not sure. I think what was going on is just because it's a pro trend trade. Did we have the proper daily pullback? Yes, we had a proper daily pullback, but I think this is not one of those candles that I would be looking to get. Like, see this when you have one of these indecision candles and you're like, yeah, price can fill it up like that. I wasn't looking for price to fill this one and then continue back up. This was a proper pullback because you had at least, or a decent pullback because you had at least one candle pullback. Why I didn't take it, I have no idea. USD PLN, I think there were some bank holidays or something going on, but yeah, it's just no idea to be honest. No idea because it looks perfect, right? Like, price makes a lower high, pulls back properly, rejects, messes around. And that's the thing too, like once we get this rejection candle, right? We know we had the rejection candle. I just didn't know when the accumulation is gonna come. So that's probably it. Like, because you're seeing all of this mess, right? Like, how do you know when you're gonna get the accumulation? You know? Like, I don't know when the accumulation is going to come. So I'm not going to be checking the charts every time. Like here kind of would have been a clearer one because you'd have been like, okay, right here we have this level. It's very easy to see. These wick ones like here, like these are the good ones, right? But I just don't know how to time this properly. Here, this is obvious. I can be like, okay, we have an accumulation right there. Retest, contrary candle, make attached to the base. Retest, contrary candle, engulf in, and then you just take it down. From there, what time was this? 5 a.m. Stops above here. 2R, didn't make it. So we would just leave this trade open until then. Right? Um, Let me screenshot this real quick. Yeah. So that's my problem with this because like It works. I know it works. It works pretty well, but it's just I don't know when I'm gonna get the accumulation break retest. Like there's so much going on. Like it could have been like right here too. Accumulation break retest, engulfing on here. Like and then just the fact that you do that, the trade end up reversing on you because So it's kind of hard to time the accumulation break retest. So I'm stuck at the charts all the time, not knowing when, is the proper time to look when can I sleep or not. So it's kind of draining. And then you end up missing because, like the second you take a break, it's like, oh, we're gonna do this, or your brain gets too tired out from looking at all this. It's like I'm done. Like I'm KO'd, man. So like here. No, yeah, we already checked out for nothing there. And then by the time you get here, it can't even make a decision anymore because it's been cooked after like coming back, looking at it. Oh, not it, not it, not it, not it, not it. It kind of just says that, oh, like you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna get it. And when you do get it, it's like that's not it. So that's the interesting thing. You gotta learn how to overcome that. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah. So we didn't take it originally then, but there was a trade on Friday, which was a couple hours ago. Um, that would have been the only proper time because 4 looks so messy, tight range in between this, which is a schematic violation. So let me see. The original entry, which, yeah, I don't, that's interesting. I don't know why here, lower high, lower low. So I think what happened was I was looking from here to here and price at that time came back to here, then gave a rejection candle here and gave an accumulation here. So it would have given us the entry, but it violated the 4-hour schematic, which is a good thing we didn't take it, right? So if we look, we pull back, let's see if like this is obviously what, yeah, Monday, we get the rejection candle and we get an obvious rejection here engulfing, right? So at that time, basically, we would be looking for the accumulation break retest. So right here, we got it after, so that's why we avoided taking this trade because we didn't get our confirmation, right? This candle closed at 7 p.m. Our entry would have been at 6:45, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna take it at 6:45. So here we pull back and we never got the entry right here. This is an accumulation right here. Nothing happened. Price bullish, bearish, broke. Came all the way back. This engulfing here violated this accumulation on here because we've closed. This is the high of it right there. This is the accumulation. Even if we go to this one right here, it's 8.5, so this is invalid. And it's at 2 p.m. out of session. So we ignore that. 3 p.m. comes, 6 p.m. comes, we're not interested. Okay, 7 p.m. comes, we're interested now. But now we've switched to bullish, right? Um, Bearish is right here. We've now broken the high right there. So this is higher low, higher high. Broken again. Now went to bearish. Now went to bearish, but we didn't get a rejection candle confirmation yet, so we can't take it or anything, right? So we're waiting, we're waiting. Here we get an engulfing, but we didn't get the rejection confirmation yet, so we didn't take it. And because of all that, we avoided the loss. It's very important to wait for the rejection confirmation on your day of the session, right? So we got it here, but and the next on Monday when everything happened, it's a new day now. 11 p.m. We can't even take this because this is out of session as well too. So this is why avoiding trades out of session makes such a huge difference. Like that's I'll never take them that's out of session. Like I've compiled the time so I know we know exactly when to take them and when they don't work out less. And yeah, anytime after that, the market's just died. Edge doesn't work. The people that participate in the edge aren't there. This was a good one right here because, like I said, it's in session. We had everything properly and it was good. All right, we got a lot of notes to go through here. Um, Needs a proper floor. Euro GBP Pro Trend trade needs a proper daily pullback. Was not a daily accumulation breakout, so that's why that didn't work out. Daily accumulation breakout requires a daily and 4-hour alignment and multiple in alignment. Okay, multiple time frame analysis. Both daily and 4-hour must meet the specific pullback criteria before the trade is considered valid. Daily pullback minimum analysis. So you need, okay, analyzed, all pairs analyzed were at one, which is basically, okay, indicating a lack of a proper daily pullback. Proper daily pullback is required at least 1 to 2 candles. Uh, okay, 4 hour proper is important when the daily pullback, okay. Yes, so if you have a daily pullback that's less than 1 to 2 candles, the 4 hour is not going to have a deep enough pullback to make everything look properly, so it's just going to look ugly, okay? So, yeah. Pro trend trades, basically this is saying here, so pro trend trade, counter trend trade, daily accumulation breakout, they all need to have a proper 4 hour pullback. 1 to 2 candles for a pro trend trade you need for the daily, right? And this will give a proper 4 hour pullback. The counter trend trade, which is not this. This should be, honestly, let's do this. Because this only works with pro trend. Okay. Need a proper 4 hour pullback and a rejection candle. This is why. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So 4 hour. So the counter trend and the daily accumulation breakouts, they happen faster because the 4 hour is only when it needs the proper pullback. The pro trend trade without a daily accumulation that needs a proper daily pullback. That's so um okay, trades without confirmation daily will pull back in a trend. Time management, optimize charts. If pro trend candles and exhibit a proper daily pullback, minimum of 1 to 2 candles, there's no need to even monitor this pair. So if it's not showing you at least 1 to 2 candles proper pullback and not like a doji indecision at the one and then like you need like doji indecision candle at the one and then you can pull back or just pull back right away. That's why you need at least 1 to 2 daily candles and then it'll be good. Weekly wick pullback. Okay, so for the weekly wick pullback, right? It's the next support and resistance zone, basically. It's not the next target zone on here, right? The next weekly zone. Like if it was a proper weekly pullback, then yeah, we can target the next weekly zone. Okay, wick pullback, but you can target down here because this is the next support and resistance, right? But if you're already down here, it is still this zone because this is the next support and resistance zone. Until we break through it, then we can target here, right? So just remember for weekly wick pullback, right? The target is the first support and resistance zone. Only if it's a proper daily pullback, you can target the weekly structure point. So that's a good thing to know. Um, Yes, okay. USD CZK, this already hit take profit on the weekly, on the daily. So basically how I'm looking at it is if the week starts and then the daily wicks into take profit in the new week, then I'm done with it for that week. Elliot's saying that you can continue to trade it, but I don't know. I basically the ones that I've looked back on there, he's saying when it wicks into the weekly, you can leave it. I've noticed that too when you have a proper daily pullback. So, um, you wick into weekly, you can leave it. Yes. What am I trying to say here? Basically, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do it this way, like basically if it's wicked into the TP on daily and the weekly, like it's done. He's saying that you can do it after the wicks in on the daily. Like you can the next day you can continue to trade it, but I've kind of just yeah, we're gonna pay attention to that. But he's saying definitely, I think it's the opposite. If you go in on the weekly, sometimes you can still take it back down, but if you go in on the daily, it's game over. So But, honestly, I would say he's right to be honest. No, 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 no. Yeah, I'm gonna say, okay. European, okay. He doesn't like to take the weekly with pullback candles like this because he considers them weak and kind of like an indecision. For me, closed above the 0.43 is that strong. I have to keep an eye on this pair. So yeah, he's saying that he's looking for like a weekly wick pullback, but because this is an indecision candle, he's not interested in it. This is European. Um, and yeah, I was saying it closed above that. So to me, it's strong. If you get a rejection confirmation at 7 a.m. on trading view, that means the candle closes at 7 a.m. Closes at 11 a.m., opens at 7. Okay, yeah, this is basically just me making sure that I know exactly how the candles close and when the 4 hour gives a rejection candle and things like that. Basically, it's saying here you can come like 15 minutes before, 10, 15 minutes before to see because you could end up getting the accumulation break, retest, and rejection candle all at once, like in a cluster. Like, so that's why you want to come a little bit before just to see if it's possible. Um, right here. Okay, so I'm actually, no, I'm not in this trade. Oh yeah, we wanted to review this one. So European. I see what actually happened. So on the weekly, yeah, he was saying he didn't like it because of that. What happened on the daily? So the daily, um, let's start from the beginning of the week. Okay. So beginning of the week, Monday, Friday, it did absolutely nothing. So he was absolutely right. I don't really know um why why he's looking at it like that, so I'll have to figure that out. But this is a weekly candle, right? So because it's a weekly and it's pro trend, we got to remember we keep putting the pro trend here. That's makes it so much easier for me to see and know what exactly it is. So because it's a pro trend, I know that I need a proper daily pullback. So because I know that I needed a proper daily pullback, this was not it. We would expect that candle to get filled. It didn't do it on here. So this whole entire time, this candle here, because on the day, like it needed a proper 4 hour pullback. Here we had the accumulation breakout, but this was a completely different week. And as you can see, like it's just price kind of pushed up on here, and there's kind of like this resistance zone right here. So you know that you want price to kind of like daily accumulation breakout and like just break out like that and then go. So we're not interested until the 4 hour does the daily does that, or the daily just needs a proper daily pullback. Okay, uh yeah. Okay, we still got lots more to go. Need the 4 hour rejection candle. So this was Euro GBP. And because we never like that's no, that's not it. Basically, yeah, we were like, oh, we're not gonna take trades until we get to here. And then basically never gave us no matter what Euro GBP never gave us that except for here. You can see that it did start to curl up on here. So once you start getting these rejection candles, you know it's possible. But this is on the 15-minute, right? So okay, so basically what I was saying here is it never gave the rejection for our candle. I was watching the charts 10 p.m. in case the 4 hour closed at 11. Yeah. As an indecision candle and could be filled by the next 4 hour to create an engulfing and drew in the formation of that engulfing. We could see that the accumulation could see an accumulation break retest drew in that 4 hour or close at the 4 hour candle. Yeah, so basically it's just saying that I worded that weird, but yeah, basically the accumulation break retest could happen when we get the 4 hour rejection confirmation. But when 11 came, the candle was still bearish, signifying that the retracement is not yet ready to end. So we can then infer that the next candle is the 11 p.m. Is the 11 p.m. open to 3 a.m. close, and there won't be any trades within this time. So yeah, because we didn't get the rejection candle, we knew that for the next 4 hours there wasn't going to be any trades, so we don't need to pay attention to it or the rejection confirmation. So we can then check back at 3, because that's when the next 4 a.m. rejection confirmation could happen to see if we then get the accumulation break retest, which would mean that it would pull back deeper as well too. So even though the 15-minute is in trend, the 4 hour not yet giving us a rejection confirmation, so the lower time frame accumulation break retest will be invalid. Overall, we just have to be patient and wait. So that was very good. Basically, just knowing that until we get the 4 hours, let me just do this. Is that mm, just sue? Okay. All right. No rejection confirmation when we got into here, so we're not interested. And price, let's see. No 4 hour rejection candle, 11 to 3 a.m., which means that if it's gonna happen at 7 p.m. plus, so if we got it from 3 a.m. open to 7 p.m. close, then we can take it anytime before that. 3 a.m. open. Okay, and then we can take it after that. So at this time, you can see the 4 hour wasn't gonna close in a contrary bullish candle, so I just like we're like, okay, whatever, we don't need to worry about it. Um, yeah, here we check the charts. We're like, we got a minute left. It's not gonna close the way we need it to, so we can just go away. Okay, checking every 4 hours potential. Your alarm didn't go off. You just man, yeah, my alarm didn't go off that time. I just managed to like just because I like kind of got into habit of looking at the charts every 4 hours or so that it kind of was like, oh, it should be this time. And I went and I was like, oh, okay, it's 6:57, so let me just pay attention. Okay, and what types of alarm? Yeah, so I ended up changing the different type of alarm on here. Um, yeah, so that way it sounds different. We can see that the Okay. You can see that the 4 hours, no sign of closing the contrary candle, which would be bullish against the bearish retracement. So this is obviously a bearish retracement on there because all the candles are straight red. Imagine that'd be so nice to get in on this. Write that down. Okay, Euro GBP, which is why the 15-minute had no signs of the accumulation break retest, why you only need to check the charts 6 minutes before the 4 hour closes and then find something else to do, just only every 4 hours ish, because the 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. close candle, because this is the 3 a.m. to 7, there's no rejection candle, no trades, because the 7 a.m. candle closes at 11 and we'll be out of session. So right now we have no confirmations to take trade in New York. So yeah, we're done. Right when it got to like, yeah, we knew if we didn't get it at that time at 7 a.m., there wasn't going to be another one until 11, and we're done trading anyways, right? So we can ignore all that. This was you can see the daily accumulation breakout on here. So we're waiting. We couldn't take it until after it closes on there. So when this candle closes above on the daily for GU, then we're looking at it. So GU daily candle closed at 3 p.m., which was also the pullback candle on the 4 hour. I wasn't really considered a proper pullback because it never made it to the 2.5. But for the daily accumulation breakout, price doesn't have to pull back to the proper 4 hour, which I think is correct because it worked compared to the other trades, but the other trades also gave the accumulation break retest at the one. Um, okay, so basically this is saying that if it's an accumulation break retest, then you don't need to wait for that 4 hour pullback to come back to the 0.25. So let's check out GU. On the daily, which was right here. So this was the zone. We had this draw up like this. And yes, we had a proper daily breakout. So we needed to get in on this daily wick pullback on here, which would have been like on the 4 hour. So daily close, looking for a 4 hour pullback here. And the 4 hour pullback was just like this. Yeah, I remember this. I was like looking at this. I'm like, man, this is just this one single candle pullback. This is not even pulling all the way back. This is not like a proper pullback, right? Like we have the higher low to the oh, I need a break. My brain's crashing. Okay, so yeah, we had one candle pullback, right? And I wasn't gonna take it until we had a close over that accumulate like the time frame shifted, right? So the time frame shifted here. So when the time frame shifted, then we could have been looking, but it's at 3 a.m. Nothing happened there. Here we had the this right here. Um, yes. So this is where the candle closed on Monday, right? The candle closes a breakout, so then we'd be looking to get in anytime after Tuesday. Let's go back to 4 hour real quick. So Tuesday, Monday. So yeah, breakout, and we'd be looking to get in on this wick right here. So the daily had confirmed close broken out. And when we had this pullback right here, we'd be looking to get in actually, because this is where the daily closed. So kind of, why is this so confusing? This is on Tuesday, so we can look late. Oh yeah, because of how the daily candle closes. It closes at like 3 p.m. It's not an actual day on my time zone, right? So yeah. So it closed like this. This is when at 3 p.m. for me, right? So I was like, okay, it didn't pull all the way back to this 0.25. So like we don't have an area of interest or anything. I can't take it, right? But I think we also got the accumulation break retest at a higher high, so I just wasn't gonna take that. You see, yeah, because it's bearish here, right? So you have to wait until price flips to bullish, which would have been here. And did we get an entry? This is a proper pullback. This is like very clean. No, this is a contrary candle, but it's not an engulfing showing that it wants to go up and then reject it. And then we get the engulfing here at 1 a.m. And this price would have shifted structure at the time. So this was the structure right here. So there was no entry on there. So that was, I guess, one thing we didn't get the proper pullback, so there was no need to enter. So yeah, it is what it is. Um, what is this GU 50-minute? Yeah. What's this? Yes, this is when we got the first rejection candle. So go back to 4 hour, right? Let's go here. This is when we had the four rejection candles. So anytime after this would have been possible. And then go down to the 15-minute. Yeah, we just didn't get an entry because it was, wait, what? Yeah. Good thing, because I didn't even notice, like, see how, like, you look at the charts and um, if it's not zoomed in properly, you wouldn't have noticed that because these candles are just like, what the heck? But if you zoom in, then you can see that obviously that's a break in structure, so we're good. We really dodged that. Um, 4 hour 15 to 15. What else we got here? Yeah, this is all 4 hour breakout stuff. We're done with that. I just hear everyone talking about breakouts, and I'm like, man, it must be so cool to trade a breakout, But if the accumulation break retest presents itself within the 4 hour range, then you can enter it safely. So yes, this was because the accumulation break retest was outside of like the accumulation break retest happened outside of the 4 hour range at a higher high, so I'm not going to take it versus it happening within the lower high. So the lower high is right here, and then the lower low, we can have the accumulation break retest within that, then we're safe. GBP USD for 3 hour window. The reason it works is because you have an engulfing breakout. Ah, yes. So there was when there was an engulfing breakout on what was it, the daily, I believe. You see them easier. No, 4 hour? Where do we have a 4 hour engulfing breakout? I think it was 20.9. Yes. So right here, we had an actual like an engulfing pattern breakout, right? So then when we had the proper pullback, we can then take a trade that's what I was looking at there, but I don't know. We have to pay attention more to that and see what's going on. Because yes, it did on this, it looked good, but we didn't realize that the 4 hour um yes, this ah all the way down here. It's much lower. We would have gotten in much earlier. Right here, we have a base. So we got the rejection candle and everything happened, which all happened here in session. Neck retest engulfing, 8 p.m. And yes, this was because we had a 4 hour that closed as an engulfing breakout. So let me So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Sometimes you'll see the 4 hour, but yes, we had the 4 hour accumulation break retest within the range this time. So that's very important, right? So we were within the 4 hour range. So this is the 4 hour, this is the daily high, this is the 4 hour high, it's the 4 hour higher low. Yeah. So then we got the accumulation break within the range of that. In the range, which made it valid. This is the daily thing. So daily close, accumulation, daily breakout. We had one candle pullback, contrary candle, and we had an accumulation breakout. And yes, so right here, we didn't need to wait for that proper pullback because this was a daily accumulation breakout. So daily accumulation breakout we had. And after the accumulation breakout, we had a 4 hour close as an engulfing breakout, which means that we don't need a proper 4 hour pullback because of that engulfing pullback to here. That's why. So daily accumulation breakout still needs a proper 4 hour pullback, but if it's a 4 hour breakout, then you can rest assured that you have a higher chance. Just right after you get that rejection can, just look for the accumulation break retest. So let me just throw. Um, you wait for a pullback candle. You don't need a rejection confirmation because the 4 hour breakout engulfing candle is the rejection. A within the 4 hour range, not outside. All right. All right, Euro HKD. This trade I took on my personal account because it wasn't available on the broker. Which is interesting because as you can see, this trade like went up to almost 5% and then came all the way back here, which would have been like down probably another 5%. So they would have been like, yeah, you breached your daily thing. But I took it on my personal, it's cool. Um, because they didn't have it available anyways. And then so let me go here. This is the trade basically, and it's basically doing nothing. So, but I'm not gonna mess with the trade because I realize I'm the problem all the time. Like I always like mess with these trades and cause it to mess up. So I'm just gonna let it play out. 3 R's right there. There was another entry here basically because every time we get the rejection confirmation. This one was an interesting learning experience because I realized every time we get the rejection confirmation, we got a rejection confirmation right here. We then look for the accumulation break retest. It's within the 4 hour range, right? Good. Here we get another rejection confirmation right here. And so anytime after that, I can look for the accumulation break retest, right? So same thing. Basically, it's like right here, we get the rejection confirmation. Anytime after that, actually, this is a rejection confirmation right here. So anytime after this, we can start looking, but we didn't get it until all the way up here. So yeah, rejection confirmation cause this closes above 0.43. So we're good there. And then another one because this is an engulfing. So this is the same as this candle. Here, same thing, but this is not a breakout because remember, this is the higher high, right? So you can't just take it like that. Here is another one. Engulf into anytime after that. Here's another one, engulf into anytime after that. Here's another one, engulf in anytime after that. Here's another one, close above 0.43, so anytime after that. But during all these times, there was like, if you go on the 15 minute, you're going to notice that every time after that, there was never like an accumulation break retest properly. So here at like this is all bullish 15 minute goes bullish here retest there's a level right here this came retested get engulfing right there and the stops would have been like here probably would have like wicked this out you can see it's like not moving at all so Yeah. Um, let me see. Did we get it would have been we got it confirmed here actually. So we got the rejection confirmed at 11 p.m. So did we get that entry at 11 p.m. or after 11 p.m.? 11 p.m. Break the bullish, retest. Let's see if it actually did it. Looks like it did though, right? Oh yeah, 100% did. Retest, engulf in at 2 a.m. on Thursday, stops below here. And I just don't know what like this shit just pissed me off. But either way, I wouldn't have re-entered it because obviously like we're still waiting for this to play out. But this was a frustrating trade because I pretty much just came back. Like once I entered on here, I paid attention to every 15 minute, like up, down, down. And then all of this was just a piss off. All of this, all of this, all of that. Like this is the most painful trade. Like I've seen all of these 50-minute candle form. I've been there for every single one of them. Because I was like, when is this trade going to play out? As you can see, this is 4 hours. So up. Oh, good. Down, up. It's just an absolute piss off of a trade. Um, Euro, USD, they're all doing the same thing basically because the European pair moves the same. USD, DKK, this was, let me go back to my notes on here. Decent daily pullback. Yep. Basically, it had a decent daily pullback of 1 to 2 candles. The weekly closed above, so it had a strong weekly bias. All of this was just screaming for me to take this trade. We had a 4 hour rejection candle at 7 p.m. with the accumulation break retest. That's where we entered. And trade wasn't too hard and fully reversed, would have been violated on there. Um, 4 p.m. candle closes, the Gulf is showing strength. And then I was like, oh, what happens if I were like to trade against it? And then I didn't trade against it, but it ended up just blasting through. This was on Thursday. I think Friday closes as a weak candle, and then it gets filled the next day, which will be Sunday or so. We have to hold it over the weekend um, to TP because it's supposed to be a weekly with continuation. Usually doesn't take this long to play out. I see it playing out early in the week, so it's annoying and stressful to watch this trade play out, and I don't enjoy it. But the Quran says God, God is truly with those who are patient and see comfort in prayer and patience. So I did that and kind of helped me let go of it. What really helped me let go of it is taking off the timer on here. So once I took off the timer, then I wasn't really bound to time. Trade can just do whatever it wants to do. Weekly wick pullback supposed to happen early in the week. If it didn't happen, it means it's probably not going to happen. Use the HUF. So this is another one right here. Like I entered and then I don't know what all of this is. And then these are all 15-minute candles, by the way. So like picture checking back every 15 minutes, like are we in profit? Are we in profit? Are we in profit? And it just does this, like just absolute piss off. There was it USD SGD or something like that that I didn't take it. It ended up blasting into profits because it had like a yeah, this 4 hour schematic violation. Let me check something real quick. Yes, so because we had tapped into here, I wasn't gonna take an entry down here, and I think it would have actually worked, but it only works every now and then. Most of the times it doesn't work. Um, yeah, this is what I was thinking. It's the weekly wick pullback, then the entry, but Elliot cleared it up. Basically, let me write it down here. So anytime it's at a one or a two, it can happen. So you don't need to wait exactly for it to like it can break outside of that and still happen. So yeah, that's just one thing to note. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, the weekly wick pullback can happen anywhere. So it doesn't matter. You just want it to happen like early in the week. This is why I kind of not really liking this trade because like it's supposed to play out, but it kind of now it closed as an indecision candle at the higher high like that. And this is like the type of candle that Elliot doesn't want to trade because like when it pulls back, all this shit looks so messy. Yeah, this is basically like the weekly's at a higher high with an indecision candle now. So like how like usually when it does that, it needs to pull back. Like even let me see, this close above. Nah, this failed to close. That's kind of like a bad example. Um, trying to see where it like right here. This closes this. It kind of had like a quick little push up. Didn't really go all the way and then kind of just dropped back down. Let's see another one like that. This is kind of like it. Kind of had a little push after that. So maybe we'll see. But it doesn't get to the take profit when it does that. It kind of just gets to the body. So what we'd be looking at then, kind of already did it to be honest. Yeah. So yeah, he doesn't like taking trades after this. Check and understand. Basically, here it's the same thing. Indecision candle at the lower low price fully reverses. So yeah, we'd be looking to exit this trade when it comes back, or we're just gonna let it see if we can get it to hit 2R and then we'll just exit at there. Mover stops to break even something. This was the most annoying trade in my life. Like let me take these off so it's easier to see everything. Yeah, like what the heck? And watch it fully reverse now. Wouldn't even be surprised. Um, okay, and USD HUF. Weekly wick is supposed to happen there, means you can't enter below. Yes, okay, so we already looked at that. Weekly wick pullback can happen at the lower low one, basically. So it can happen there, which means yeah, that okay, okay. Okay, okay. So basically what I'm saying is yeah, it can happen. It just has to be within the 4 hour range. Um, yeah. Okay, so that basically, because then that means that if the weekly and you're doing a weekly pullback, you're only trying to get in on here, but you can get in here as well too, here, anywhere, you know? So that's basically what that means. And also I took off the countdown timer, so I don't know when candles are closing. I'll just look at my clock like normal, so I don't have to be like, oh, we got 10 more, 5 more, 3 more, and then you're like, oh, it doesn't close in my direction. It's come back. Oh, 5 more minutes. It's just so stressful dealing with it like that. So I just remove the timer on there. I'll just check back. I have an alarm that goes off like maybe like 5 minutes before every 4 hour candle goes off, and then I'll just pay attention to it that way. And then that way price just moves. I don't need to anticipate anything. Just, remove anything that could cause any sort of confusion with trading or any sort of like difficulty, any sort of resistance. Just make it super easy to like if you were like a 5-year-old and you don't want the 5-year-old to mess up, just remove all the possible distractions. Okay, remove. Yeah, and then yeah, I just remove the stop loss on it. It's supposed to be Euro HKD. Right? Yes. So I removed the stop loss over the weekend, but that's for trading companies. So on my personal account, I put it back on there because you never know what's going to happen. They could blow up a pipeline in Nigeria or something, and then all of a sudden, price kind of just goes crazy. So yeah, basically that's the review for the 13th to the 18th. Basically just going over everything that I've learned. There were a lot of learning lessons in here, a lot of patience, but overall it was quite a interesting week. It's been so slow that kind of had me check questioning the whole entire strategy. But then, Elliot and Hubert, they were like talking, they're like, yeah, it's slow for everyone. So, like don't feel some type of way because I was feeling like what's going on? I feel like a bum, like I'm not doing anything. And so yeah, it's just the market's been moving really weird since Trump had it like go all whiplash and then kind of said like, oh yeah, we are just joking by the way, and just straight market manipulation stuff. So because of that, the edge hasn't been playing out because the market conditions haven't been suitable for it. So which makes sense why we literally had like no trades for the past like two. Well, we had, a couple trades, but nothing really, really, nothing's playing out as it should because of how the market is. Um, so yeah, that's kind of put everything into perspectives that yeah, no one's really getting trades. There are a couple of trades and I realize how I could have caught them now, but of course hindsight's always perfect and we've learned a lot. So we're gonna implement all of those into next week. Um, we're going to do the weekly breakdown next. So with the weekly breakdown, basically, I'm going to incorporate all those things that I've learned about the new, not wanting these indecision candles at the higher high like that. Like you want like a strong candle like this in order to trade that. Yeah, we're gonna go from there. Like you can't do a weekly with pullback off of this. You only want to do a weekly with pullback off of a strong candle weekly with pullback, or a weekly with pullback continuation. But yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, that was it for now. Yeah, this is long. Peace.